Hello, my garden friends. I'm in my backyard. It's a lovely afternoon, mid-April, and I just wanted to show you what's going on. My hibiscus, of course, just look lovely, and they have lots of small little blooms on them, just kind of coming out. And I think in the next couple weeks I should have a nice flush of color like this. And then maybe I can get back to making some hibiscus tea. It's a little early. This is an Agapanthus. Blue Nile is the variety, and it's quite huge. And I usually get about a dozen big blue blooms off of it. And I have two of my little square foot gardens my little experiment that I thought if I took brown paper bags and cut them way down, put them 2-3 ply, and I could have one little crop in each one, kind of like Mel Bartholomew used to do, the square foot garden. This is my second one, and I like the way I did this better, where I actually separated the bags. That way they weren't flowing over into each other, and it kept them a little bit drier. You can see I just packed up some grass clippings all around it, and that'll keep the base of it cooler. This is only 4 weeks old, and I did take some of the giant red Japanese mustard and planted a few in amongst it, just using the space, and just one. Also, if you've been watching me, you know that these are Crepe Myrtle branches that I have beans growing up, and the purpose is so that when the beans grow up the vine and fill out, then it'll keep the sun off of these at the bottom. Greens don't like to be in the direct sunlight. And so anyway, I have some more mustard here in these two, and I have onions here in the center, and then I have spinach and radishes in the back there. And so again, it's only 4 weeks, so I'm hoping for a nice crop there, more Agapanthus. And now this is the first one. You can see I didn't really put any space in between anything. The beans here are growing up a little bit more. And I planted caladiums a couple years ago, and caladiums are such in Florida that they just take over. And so even if you think you've gotten all the bulbs up, oh look, here's one, and they just kind of surprise you. But anyway, this is my first one, my first square foot garden. And I had 2 types of lettuce, and I had basil and spinach and radishes and beets. So we've been eating off of this for, I think I did this one back, I don't know if any of the, I think that was in January, but I mean 3 months later we've been eating off of this for 2 months. And so if you can keep rotating, like here's one, and here's number 2, and then in a couple weeks I'll have to figure out where I can put another one so that we can finish with this one and then start eating off of that one and wait for the third one to progress. So you can grow your own vegetables, especially if you're in the south. And this time of year, I think most places are getting warmer, even into up in Pennsylvania. This is sweet potato vine, and I planted just 3 little pieces of sweet potato, and just basically for the vines because they are edible. And then I wanted to show you over here, I just put this together a few weeks ago, and my carrots, of course, are 3-4 months in the developing, but I just did the tomatoes, and I've covered it again with grass clippings. Now, the interesting thing about this, let me just say, uh, if I put down grass clippings, for the grass clippings to break down, they would actually draw nitrogen from the soil. So I want to keep the ground cool, and I want to protect the soil and allow it to have the all the beneficial fungi that's in the soil. So what I do, and I'm sure other people do it as well, is I lay down cardboard first, and that cardboard just protects it, and then I put the grass clippings on top. And in a few months, whenever I take it up, the ground underneath will still be nice and damp and cool. Keeps the tomato happy. And as you can see, I've got some little blooms. I don't think I have any tomatoes yet, but this is going to be a plum tomato. And I've also planted basil in between. And the basil is supposed to throw the hornworm moth off scent. He will fly around and they'll smell the basil versus smelling the tomato, and they don't like the smell of basil, so they'll keep on moving. So anyway, this was my sweet peas, and I put a marigold just in front, just for appearance. And here's my regular snap peas, and we came out and we harvested last night, so there's really not too many. They need to be fill in a little bit more. Just they aren't as, it's not as prolific as I thought it would be. So I might change that up and plant something else here next season. And next season might just be in a few weeks or months. And so you can see that I'm getting something off of it. It's not a useless little strip. But I'll have to rethink this one. And you can see my little trellises. You guys like those. They've been quite sturdy. Nobody's gotten pulled down yet. You can do it with bamboo sticks. Or you can do it with, if you have branches of your own. So Plumeria are leafing out, and quite a few of the heads have are going to bloom, and I'll show you over on the other side. So that shows you from this end down. You can see that Plumeria tree. And then let me turn around to this side where I just walked out, and you can see the tea plants and the Dusty Miller. And these little bush beans have been really, I don't know, let me get under there. Can you see that? I've gotten quite a few. They're really, I mean, look at the blooms. We pulled some off last night and just stood out here and ate them. They were delicious. Oops. Let me see if I can get that for you. Very healthy. First time I've ever tried to grow bush beans, so that was cool. And the parsnips in the front are just coming up. So I'm looking forward to that. I've never eaten a parsnip before, so that should be exciting. I did show you my little papaya tree before, and a couple weeks later it's looking good. The caladiums, as I said, they're all starting to find their way back up. They here in Florida, let me just say that they will come out, they'll multiply, they'll bloom the whole way through the summer. August, September, August is really supposed to be their like really tremendous month. And then they start to wane September, October, November, they just kind of like die back, and by December, I've got a few left, but nothing major. And I had 400 bulbs that I planted both in the front and backyard. Uh, the Pampas Grass uh, that I started out as like little bitty starts. They were 50 cents at Lowe's. They were, you know, kind of in the dead pile. And last year they were great. This year, I think I cut them back way too early, but they are coming back, and I see a first bloom. They're pretty, and I like them because they were so nice to use in arrangements. Marigolds are just ones that I planted from seeds that I don't remember even buying them, but year after year they keep coming back. So you know, this year I kind of made a little stand of them. I'll back off here just a little bit to show you the Crepe Myrtle. This is a raspberry colored Crepe Myrtle, and it's really pretty. I can't wait for it. It's always early. And then here's the Florida red maple, and I think it's going to be this year, it's actually going to leaf out in red. So that's kind of exciting for me because it was green before. And then this is the volunteer that I had from the front yard in Crepe Myrtle, and it blooms in a mauve color. And then, you know, underneath the amaryllis that I planted, the bulbs, and you saw the blooms the last time. They were really quite pretty. And now what I will do with these, for those of you who are always interested in the amaryllis, is I'll go ahead and take that stalk off in another week or two, and then I'll let that plant go, and through photosynthesis it's going to get real healthy. It's going to stay. It's probably going to, and is, sending up little shoots, and those are the little baby bulbs, and I'm multiplying there, and I'll leave that, you know, I'll just let them go in the ground, and they can naturalize over here. As you can see, there's one that has quite a few underneath it, with more caladiums surprising me everywhere. More. So that's about. Oh, I wanted to show you this. Now this is a Plumeria that, you know, I just broke off a branch and stuck it in the ground a couple years ago, and things grow really well here. But here's what a bloom stalk looks like. Can you see all those little? Each one of those will come out, and they will swell up, and they'll send out other ones, and then the little, you know, it'll be like a little white creamy looking little stick, and that will unfurl and be the Plumeria, and on and on and on. I'm guessing I will have at least 200 blooms this year, maybe 300, because if you can see, they're all in leaf, and every one of those tips will probably produce a bloom head. I usually get a dozen to 2 dozen blooms off each one. I've got all of those. I've got that tree. I have those 2 trees. Trying to think, do I have any in the front? Well, I have ones on the porch here in the back that have bloom heads. So that's what's happening in my backyard. And I think I will stop this here because it looks so pretty. It's time for me to go in and have a little lunch and enjoy the rest of my day. So thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions on any of my plants, be more than happy to talk to you about it. I love planting, and I love that Mother Nature and my own life and health and everything have gone on, that I can I'm retired and I can enjoy doing this. And so take care, everybody, and garden what you've got, no matter what it is. If you have a lot, garden. If you have one pot and some seeds, if they're orange, if you had an orange for breakfast and you've got orange seeds, or you're making lemonade and you can find seeds, put them in the ground. It'll make you happy. So anyway, take care, garden what you've got. Thanks. See you next time. Bye-bye.